Hi guys, Touchmano, how's everyone doing? Good, I hope. Today I'm reviewing Opus 9 by the wonderful Amouage. Yeah, really getting involved with this brand. I'm just discovering more and more of their fragrances that I like. I've got so many to go, but this was my first ever one that I've got. I've got 3 at the moment. Opus 9. It's part of their library collection. When I got it, it was the most recent one. It came out in 2015. I think it's classed as an Oriental Floral, but they've since released Opus 10, so there is another one. I need to smell a few more. But yeah, I was lucky enough to get this as a gift at Christmas, so I wore it a lot in winter, which is kind of what it's best for really, because it's so rich and heavy, but absolutely love it. I've been kind of holding off doing this review because I really wanted to wear it as many times as possible, just to really give it a good review. It's the first Amouage I really fell in love with, and so far, none have come closer. Thanks for doing your gardening on a hot summer's day when I'm trying to do a review. So inconsiderate. So yeah, here it is, Opus 9. I've recently got Opus 1 as well, which, while still just as beautiful, it's a completely different fragrance, but this review will come soon. So yeah, here's the box. I probably should show you it a little bit closer up, but I'll just do it the normal way for now because yeah. So they look like library books. They pull out like this. It's got a rose on this side, which is lovely, and I'm not sure why. Or maybe it's a camellia, because it's got camellia in it. And then the back is my favourite. It's like a scratchy kind of artist's impression of a rose. It's a little bit golden. Yeah, and it says Opus 9 there. And yeah, they pull out like books. Now the bottle, oh my gosh. The bottle is so nice. I hope the camera picks it up. They come in these little stands, so you can stand them up. But the bottle is actually, it's completely opaque. Mine's the 100ml one. And it's got a golden shimmer to it. I don't know if that's going to be picked up on camera, but it's got tiny flecks of gold all the way through the glass. It looks a bit grubby actually. And yeah, it's really heavy as well. Kind of like curved. And the lid, it's lovely, it's really heavy as well. It's got the little, whatever that is on the top. So let me tell you about the notes. Now these notes are just, when I read it I was just like, oh gosh. I have to actually thank a guy called Peter Corican, I think you'll have to pronounce the surname, I think that's the right way, who sent me a bunch of samples and this was included. It's your fault, you're the reason that I fell so much in love with this. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so the top notes are jasmine, black pepper, and camellia accord. Camellia, I can't even comment on that because it's a flower that doesn't have an odour. Oh, poor camellia. It's kind of like a penguin. You've got wings but you can't fly. Yeah, so every time it's in a fragrance, it's a fantasy accord. It's a made-up smell, which I can't pinpoint in this because there are so many other things that are way more bolshy. So, black pepper, jasmine, and camellia accord. The heart notes. The heart has got gaiac wood, leather, and beeswax. I mean, gaiac wood, so interesting. It's so nice to have a fragrance that isn't the usual cedar or sandalwood and things like that. Not saying that they're not nice, but gaiac wood, I've smelled it on its own. I've smelled the pure, very viscous essential oil of it. I have it, and it literally smells like scorched wood. It smells like if there was a bonfire and people had thrown logs on there, and then you came back the next day to the charred remains. It smells like fire. I used it in my fragrance that I made. So, brilliant. Leather, beeswax, a real solid heart there. Just so beautiful. And then the base notes are ambergris, vetiver, and civet. So, it's got quite a heavy description already. You can only imagine. And with Amouage, they don't usually hold back when it comes to making something very bold. Oh my god, I love it. So what does it smell like? I wore this a lot in winter, like I said. Would I dare wear it in this weather, in this heat we're having? Probably not. It's very heavy. Oh my god, I love it. So yeah, as you can imagine, Amouage, they're a brand that come from Oman, so they do make very opulent fragrances. This is probably one of the most rich and opulent fragrances I own, or have ever smelled, in fact. It's really just whack straight away. So cool. This is a kind of statement occasion fragrance. I wouldn't just wear this casually day to day. It's too special for that, for sure. So what you're hit with straight away is a very, very powerful peppery jasmine smell. Really high pitched, really loud, really in your face. This is, I keep saying the word beautiful. It's not necessarily beautiful. It's more of a bad bitch fragrance. It's really, really incredibly opulent. I know I keep saying that, but it really is. So it's got this real peppery jasmine thing going on, and then the heart is immediately there. It's got the leather. It's got this kind of smoky gaiac wood going on as well. It smells like fire, and there is an overall animalic feeling to the whole thing as well, and not in a musky way, in a civic kind of way. Controversial as that note may be, I always appreciate perfumers that will put that in a fragrance because it's very daring. It can be unpleasant. But in this, it's just the right amount. So everything kind of dances around at once. It's just so much. It's so incredibly cool. I love it. Can you tell? I feel like I'm gushing. I do that when I love a fragrance. I must apologise. I wanted to say as well, I'm always one that says, you know, I'm not really fond too much of Arabian fragrances. I don't really like oud that much. And while this definitely smells Arabian, it's so nice to have an Arabian fragrance that doesn't have oud as the backdrop. It's such a refreshing change, so you still get all of that amazingness that you get from these really heavy, kind of luxurious Arabian fragrances, but this one has all of that without oud, and it's just so nice. I think that's why I love it so much, because I love the heavy stuff, right? But oud always just overtakes everything. It's like, it could almost be in there, but it isn't. It's just way better than that. So yeah, if you don't really like animalic stuff, it's not the one that you can easily just pick up and like, because it's that daring. But this beautiful, dirty jasmine, it's like the real rough side of jasmine, the kind of uglier side, the underbelly of jasmine's in here. Spiced up with black pepper, and then you've got this rich heart that's just leathery and smoky, and just really, every time I smell it I just go like that. I want to spray it on myself today, but it's way too hot, so I'll just keep it here for now. Obviously super strong, obviously super long lasting. It's Amouage after all. A lot of their fragrances, you know, are very unforgiving. Obviously not all of them, but a lot of the heavier ones anyway. And you do get everything at once, and that's what I like about it. It smells like a lot of things at once, but everything is so seamlessly blended. It is just perfection to me, the way that it's blended, the way everything complements each other. It's such a good array of notes in there. There isn't a huge development over time, but when it does dry down, obviously you've got vetiver in the base as well. It's another really heavy note in there. Everything's just heavy, heavy, heavy in this. But when it does dry, the animalic side does come out a little bit more, but it's never too much. The civet in this, it's a touch, and it gives it an animalic tone, but you don't think, oh, that's civet and it smells like cat's bum. So yeah, the dry down stage is really nice also. The jasmine holds on, the animalic side comes out like I said, and it's never too far from how it smells when it's wet. Absolutely love it. I get 10 hours plus out of this. I've not tried it in heat, but in winter it's so nice if you've got a scarf on and you're wrapped up, and then you arrive out to meet your friends and you whip off the scarf and whew, Opus 9. I'm Arch Someone, click my logo to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another review. Goodbye!